Steve, so when we met on that day, it was 2 weeks after your surgery, and we were talking about the different treatment options. And one of the thinking was, whether the tyrosine kinase inhibitor versus immunotherapy. And we went to the tyrosine kinase inhibitor route because the thing is, because it was an aggressive disease. And as I said to you, the tyrosine kinase inhibitor which got recently approved was Cabozantinib. And Cabozantinib was approved for intermediate and high-risk patients. And you fell into all the criteria for the Cabozantinib. And that was very important, that we needed to block the mechanism which was driving your cancer. And as I said to you, that Cabozantinib is driving stops the VEGF, the MET, and the AXL, which is unique to Cabozantinib. And we do not know because it had already spread to the liver, to the lung, to the retroperitoneum. And so, as I said to you, I want you to be a part of the decision-making process. We talked about side effects. What was your feeling when I discussed about the side effects at that time?
Well, believe it or not, I really didn't care about the side effects. I just wanted to make sure the cancer was gone. So the only thing I worried about was, of course, the pain, because I had seen family members in a lot of pain. And I knew that with almost any drug, you have stomach issues. So I was only concerned about the pain at the beginning from the medicine itself and the side effect of the stomach, because I knew how important it was to eat, drink, and, for quality of life, obviously, to be out of pain.
Yeah. I do remember you had a chemotherapy teaching with our nurse practitioner to go over all the side effects and who to call in the care team. And I do think you must have, because we had given you a number who to call. And how was your interaction with that?
Well, from day one, right away, my sister and her brother and my brother-in-law, they came to the hospital and they said that they wanted me to move in with them. So from day one, I was all set as far as making sure that I had somebody to help me with care, everyday care. And I was hooked up with an outside nursing company who sent somebody down, a palliative care nurse. And the one that I saw the most was Veronica Ward. And she would come in and she sat with me and helped right away from early on with the side effects of stuff that was happening right after the operation. And then, of course, after I started the meds, after the 5 weeks. And so she would come and sit with me once a week, and we would discuss everything that happened that week in pretty much every little detail. So she was there for an hour, which was nice.
Oh, that's really nice because, as you know that this targeted therapy also have side effects. We are always talking about how great these drugs are, but, with every drug comes a few of the side effects. And we always talk about the risk and benefit of this treatment and how to mitigate some of the toxicity. And I remember you talking to me about some of the fatigue. You really was having a tough time because you were very active, you were into construction work,
Right.
and you were always wondering whether you will be able to go back to work. Yes. So how do you overcome some of the side effects?
Before I got sick, like I said earlier, I was in construction, and one of the things I did was I used to hang sheetrock, and that was one of the things I really liked to do. It was just physical. It was like going to the gym every day and getting paid, which I really liked. And I had incredible endurance. So I was able to work 7 days a week, anytime I wanted. So anytime I wanted to buy something, I wanted to buy a Harley, I worked 90 days in a row and I bought a Harley Davidson. So I had incredible endurance. So after the operation, I couldn't even get out of the chair. I couldn't even get out of the wheelchair. It was amazing. I needed help. Going to the bathroom, we had to set up 4 chairs on the way to the bathroom, which was only like 50 feet. So that was right after the operation. So I knew going forward that taking the medication could even compound all of that and make it worse. So one of the issues I had was about the side effects and going forward, and whether it was going to make everything worse and how to make sure that it didn't get worse.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember you asking me whether, we could reduce the dose. And then as I said to him, Cabozantinib is given in the dose of 60 milligram daily. And, we want to replicate what the clinical trials had shown the result. And I felt that, when he came to me back, he was coming initially every week and then every 2 weeks to monitor some of the side effects. I said, let's continue. I hope you can endure some of the issues which are there with any drug for that matter. And but he started walking. He was more energetic, but he felt a little that his endurance was not coming back. And I said, we will continue with the 60 milligram dose, but we can take 1 day off and see how you feel. And I think you felt much better after that. Am I right?
That was a long time in though, because I mean, when you're in the middle of it, every day is like a year. So after we started, I was doing it 7 days a week. The side effects were pretty intense. A lot of pain. I don't like taking drugs. I don't do yellow dye. I don't do aspartame. I don't do aspirin. I don't do anything that's in a box. Mm-hmm. I mean, I did a lot of all natural fruits, vegetables, right, everything. And so having the stomach issues was pretty devastating. It limited the stuff I could eat and drink. So I mean, I just stayed with water, obviously, which I had to force down as many bottles a day. But the first 3 months doing the chemo, the Cabo 7 days a week, was debilitating, I would say. We saw results, obviously. So every time I went to you, and every month I went and we got the CAT scans, you could see that the tumors are shrinking. And my body weight was dissipating very quickly. I was 275 when I first got sick. I think when I saw you in February, I was about 257, right around there. I guess that's the weight of the organs. I don't know. And but I started losing weight. But then when I started the Cabo, the weight poured off me real fast. So between March and September, I lost a total of about 60 pounds. Yeah. So I'd gone down to 192 by September. Right. And for a lot of people who might be watching this, they're like, well, 192, that's a great weight. But you're talking to somebody who was, 6'2", 275 pounds. I was massive. I was incredibly strong. I'd been working out my whole life, and, doing what I did for work kept me strong. And I was very active. I mean, I could even do full splits and stuff. I was doing yoga. I do yoga before all my workouts. And so being 192 to me was just, it was terrible. I felt small, weak. But my endurance did start increasing as the summer went through. Yes, because I started pushing myself. So I was, I started here. I used to be able to do sets of 100 of push-ups. So what happened was I'd do one. So my first time I could only do one push-up, and I'd force myself to walk. And I had a walker, so it was help. But I would just force myself every day to do more. So in the summertime, March, April, May was really tough because I didn't do much other than just lay down and just meditate. I'd meditate, 6 hours a day on just trying to kill a cancer. So I thought of my body as a machine producing like killer T cells along with the medicine. And I would concentrate on my killer T cells killing the cancer like a little Pac-Man.